Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the R&I Variety Show. I'm Rama.
Woohoo, and I'm Isabel.
Woohoo, indeed. And we're back with, what is this, episode 3?
It is indeed.
Dang, it's been so long. All right. Well, so we hope that you guys have been enjoying some of this that's gone out. Our schedules have been a little weird just because I'm in school and I'm a hopeless ADD nuthead, and we also went to Hawaii to see my brother, so we've been busy kids.
Yeah.
But we're back and we're gonna do a fun little trivia activity thingamajigger. Heck yeah.
Yep, we figured we'd do some little icebreaker type questions just for fun, just to mix it up a bit. And yeah, we're posting this a little late, but as Rama said, we hope you've been enjoying the few episodes we have out, and don't forget to reach out. We'd love to, converse with you all.
Answer some questions.
Yeah.
No question is too deep or too prying or too graphic. Let's go.
Yeah. So we do have a couple little overall
categories.
Yeah,
question categories. Where do we begin?
Do
we start with a rando one?
I think let's start with one of these.
Would you, if you could? Let's start with if you could.
Okay.
Cards.
Cool.
Picked at random. Pick a card, any card. There we are.
And you pick
You've
a card.
got one. I've got one. If it's too dumb,
we'll get another
I'm gonna pick another card.
Yeah. I mean, we could still answer it, but
agree.
Yeah.
You first.
Okay. My card says, if you could live in a sitcom, which one would it be and why? It's gonna take me a second to think about. Do you have one off the top of your head?
A sitcom I would live in and why? Friends. I'm not a fan of Friends. I would never. I would rather die. Shoot. I'm not a big sitcom person. I honestly, I might go like really old school and say Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of our, we think there's two kinds of people. Seinfeld, well, there might be a third kind of people who don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But Seinfeld or Friends. Because, they're both equally dumb, but Seinfeld is also smart.
Yeah, I mean, and I've told you this before, which is funny because it's more relatable now. Like, one of my brother's friends thought he was so cool for watching Seinfeld because, he hated on people that watched Friends. And this was when I was a kid, so I mean, we watched Friends occasionally because it was just on TV. Sure. But I didn't really know what was going on most of the time. But now that I look back and realize what the shows are about, it's kind of just funny. Yeah. It's, I don't know. You can't love Seinfeld as a kid, as a young person. Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah. It's just it's over my head.
Yeah. Well, it was over your head.
Yeah.
Now you're better.
Yeah, now I can grasp the nothingness.
Yeah.
Which is the show.
Embrace the meaninglessness of life.
Yes, exactly.
Also, they're fucking real people. They have bills to pay and weird friends and screwed up jobs, and I can relate to people in Seinfeld. I can't relate to people in Friends.
It's a lot harder, I think. But I mean, we also haven't watched it in a very long time, so who knows? Maybe there's some appeal. But anyways, regardless, we're not here to justify.
We're not just here to bash on Friends
and uphold Seinfeld.
Have you picked a side here?
No.
I think I'm going with the sitcom Seinfeld.
Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of sitcoms either.
Yeah.
So I mean, the only show I can think of would be The Office, because it's a show I love a lot and think is funny.
I was a huge fan for a number of years.
Yeah. But would I want to be in The Office? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only other sitcoms I know I watched were we watched Full House,
Yeah.
But again, I don't really want to be in that show.
Yeah. I think the notion of wanting to live in a sitcom is like Groundhog Day.
Yeah. I could totally see that.
Trapped in a temporal loop.
Yeah.
And it would be torture.
It could be, yeah.
It would be torture.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's like we did watch WandaVision, which like is is a
Yep.
sitcom, and
Yep.
like obviously if you haven't seen that show, no spoilers, but
Yeah.
like they
So
do change kind of like the sitcoms like through the years almost, which is an interesting thing to see.
it's a mind bender. It's
Yeah.
actually really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Marvel fan anymore, just because it's too like there's too many
There's
movies
so
to
much
keep
going
track
on.
of, and
Yeah.
yeah. But like WandaVision was actually really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Let's move
so
on.
yeah,
We're gonna do
yeah.
15 minutes on this, and it's not even a great question.
This is true. Okay,
All right,
next.
mine. If you could change one thing about the way you were raised, what would you change?
Oh my
My
gosh.
mom would have gone to therapy. Ba-bam.
Oof, yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, how deep do we really want to go?
With this question, I don't know.
This is a deep ass question,
That is a
and
pretty deep one.
I was literally talking with somebody today about this. Like, if
Yeah.
my mom had gone to therapy, everything would have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. But I mean, obviously, it also depends on the type of therapy, and
If
how
it worked,
committed.
and
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
like, there's still levels there at which like, how do we know for sure that that would have been
It-
what changed
if,
things?
if my mom had been able to heal her attachment wounds,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
Is that
practiced what she preached,
yeah.
because for those who anybody listening to this almost certainly knows, but like my mom thought she was a hippie, and she wasn't. Like, she was really just a weird, like, desperate, mentally ill person. And like, I love weird, desperate, mentally ill people, but having one for a parent was kind of hard.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, I mean, you had to learn to love that basically.
yeah,
It's not like you knew then that you needed to love that, but you kind of had to adapt to
yeah,
that situation.
yeah.
But yeah.
I definitely saw the value in those people, and I consider myself one of those people.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing better than I used to, obviously, but like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
therapy. I think all of us just need to understand ourselves
Mhm.
in a healthy way, and I think that our culture and our families have been so badly used, sort of, throughout
Mhm.
history. Like, even people who grew up wealthy or whatever, like, they're not mentally healthy either. Like, I
Mhm.
think everybody
Yeah.
needs to struggle toward health, because our cultures have kind of destroyed it for all of us.
For
I'll
sure.
stop there, because I'll just go on and on and on. That question was tailor made for me.
Yeah. I know, and again, I feel bad because it's like I want to answer these, but I don't know what I would change from my childhood. I
Yeah,
mean,
simple things like, it would have been nice if we had more money. uh,
I don't know. I mean,
it would have
again,
been
like,
nice if my dad stuck around. My mom
yeah.
didn't leave him for somebody awful.
I
Not that my
mean,
dad was a great dude, but
yeah,
which he
man.
decidedly is not. But still,
I hate to be one of those people, but it's like I feel like the struggle is kind of what made me who I am,
100%.
So it's
Yeah.
like, do I change that and then change the outcome,
Mm, yeah.
which is always hard
Yeah.
because it's that variable of like the unknown of how that would have turned out. Like, yeah, it would have been cool to, I don't know, not have to be alone so much as a kid,
Yeah.
but also then I don't know. I don't know if I would have become extroverted or
Mm,
not, and then
mm,
like that changes kind of a lot of who I am.
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I
It,
feel like that's just kind of like a hard thing to answer.
yeah.
Unless yeah, like you have something
Or,
very clear.
or you're taking it very lightly.
Yeah.
Like that. If you want to take this question lightly, it would be things like, I wish we camped more.
Yeah.
I wish my dad would have played video games with me. Like,
Yeah. For sure.
yawn.
I mean, yeah, there's something to be said for those things, but
Right.
it's like, yeah, I don't know.
If I had one thing, yeah, it's like, if I had one thing to change, I'm not blowing my wish on something stupid. Come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think we always think of things too deeply anyways, so
Yeah.
it's not like there's a way
Yeah.
we would think of it
Right.
in a less
Right.
serious way.
And there's no like we could have drinks, we'd still go dark.
Yeah.
There's never a moment where we're like hee, life is so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, those
Okay.
were good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. And
What's
then
next? Would you rather?
let's do some would you
We're gonna
rathers.
do another card. Would you rather? Pick a
Boom, boom,
card, any
doom.
card.
Go with this side.
All right. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I go first this
Yeah,
time?
you go first.
All right. Oh. Mine says, would you rather date someone you love or date someone who loves you?
That is so funny.
uh, these questions are too deep, or we're too deep for these questions.
Yeah.
I would never again, never, ever again in my life be with someone I didn't love who didn't love me the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck the premise of this question forever.
I mean,
I would never, ever date somebody I didn't love, and I would never date somebody who didn't love me the same.
for sure.
Like, fuck that.
I mean, and it's a bummer to think like that anyone would want to put themselves in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think we're just a little too deep for these questions, but like, because ideally, you want the person that you're dating to love you, and you want to love them back. Why would
Right.
you want it to only be one sided? Like
Right.
that just seems very silly. So I hope people get better ideas of relationships
Well, I
because
mean,
that's just sad.
you know, there's this notion that like you'll find the person who completes you, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, love at first sight, and like, I mean, those things are nice. Like, those are nice ideas, but
And I
I mean,
mean, it
look at the
is.
relationships you've seen in your life. Who has that relationship?
I
You know,
mean,
there's
it's
problems.
yeah. It's very few times that is what exactly happens,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, especially now, like relationships are so different than what they used to be. So
True.
it's like,
True.
regardless of like love at first sight or whatever, it just doesn't naturally happen like that anymore. So I don't know. Just the idea that again, you would put yourself in a situation where it's one-sided emotions, like
Yeah.
it's a little sad.
Yeah. Neither of those situations is now when we let's milk this one for 2 more minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Like, when we got together, like, we were explicitly friends first, dating, like, dating as long as it was good,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it was right, as long as it felt good, and we were very explicit. If you don't want to be here anymore, you may leave.
Mm-hmm.
You have a get out of jail free card. You can break up. We did very briefly for like 4 days or a week or something.
Yeah.
Um, because I was trapped,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you weren't trapped the same way, but you were trapped in a mindset, you know, and like trying to make something work that wasn't ever going to work, because you can't make a relationship work one-sided.
Yeah.
There's no way to love somebody enough that they will love you back.
Yeah.
And there's no way to love somebody enough that they will get better, air quotes,
For sure.
you know? And like, when we got together, we were very out front, outright, open about it. If this isn't working, it should end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that, you know, it ended up that was a good way to start, because when we had to make those decisions, like, is this something that we're going to commit to? We were able to say, no is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no has to be an option, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that helped us to kind of like fall in love without a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, It's definitely a unique situation that we were in.
Hmm.
Um, just because of a lot of different factors, but
That's episode 4.
we'll see. Um, but yeah, I mean, it just worked out well, and I
Yeah.
mean, you're like my best friend,
Yeah.
and we kiss sometimes, so
Yeah. And we cook each other dinner.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I I don't know. I've never wanted a relationship with anyone that's not my best friend first,
Right.
basically.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, it's almost like more relational
Mm-hmm.
than like I, I mean that's why I personally have loved calling you my partner.
Yep.
Like we're together in this, and like we're two separate people obviously, but it's like we get to do things united, and like that's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my brain.
Yeah. There's no hierarchy. There's no gender norms. Not
Yeah.
not that we don't embody certain gender roles now and then. Like, we were talking about that earlier. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that I haven't been cooking you dinner.
Yeah.
Because I'm, busy with school and busy having panic attacks every other day. But like, we don't want.
We don't expect gendered roles of each other.
Right.
Like we both do all of the same chores,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but yeah, anyways, detracting from the question a little.
Yeah.
As one does. Um but yeah,
Yeah. Bam.
you
Okay.
want to love the person.
Yeah, I would never settle for an either or ever in a million years.
Yes.
That's how I would know that it was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's kind of fun. So mine says, would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room? And I want to be the funniest.
That's right. Being the funniest is being the smartest person.
Boom.
Usually. Usually.
If you're funny, like if you're witty,
Right.
you're like a smart, funny person.
Right.
I just making
Not
people
cracking
laugh.
fart jokes all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Making
that
people
there's
laugh.
anything wrong with fart jokes.
I know, I still laugh at a fart joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know, making people laugh I feel like is more enjoyable than like teaching people stuff.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, being smart is cool. Like, obviously nothing bad about that. But it's like, if you're the smartest person, are you like smarmy about it? Or are you like, like
Are
are
you a
you
huge douche about it?
yeah, like are you gonna be cool, or are you
Yeah.
just gonna be like, well actually, and it's
Yeah,
like
right.
every time it's always a
Yep.
well actually, and
Yep.
it's like, no dude, like
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
Well, because yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly,
So,
like that dichotomy is, there's a million other things you could be, but like, I always thought of myself as the smartest kid in the room, and I wasn't. I was just super insecure about my value. So like, I didn't get any self-esteem bump that was meaningful or healthy for me from being smart.
mm,
Like it twisted me up,
mm.
And then like, I love being funny. I love being I think I'm funny.
Everyone says I'm funny, so
Everybody, yeah, right. Everyone awkwardly laughs when I crack a joke. But like, at this point I would honestly much rather be the funny person. We've talked about everything in our relationship, but like, being cool, like being chill and accepting and kind and silly, and goofy is so much more important to me than being right or being, appreciated for my intellect. Like, I would much rather people experienced my energy as light and fun and healthy and
Mhm.
positive. Even though I am really serious and dark, but like,
We can laugh about it though.
right, yeah.
We put the fun in funeral, dude.
Bam, baby. Oh shit. I love it. That's right.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's something to be said too for like taking things too seriously.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
being funny means that you can kind of like lighten the mood,
Yeah.
and like You know, I'd rather be that person instead of a person
Mm-hmm.
that keeps things
Mm-hmm.
serious. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would agree. I'm very much the same. Like, I'm happy to talk deep dark stuff all the time. Not
Yeah.
that I usually do, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just more fun to kind of make it funny to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Easier to talk about heavy stuff with, drink in your hand and a laugh,
Oh yeah, something witty to say.
Right.
All
All right.
right.
What's up? What's this?
We're moving on
Rando.
to random.
Random. I will choose first.
Yes.
And then you get to go first. Here, let me trade you.
Okay. I don't know. I'll get this one, I guess.
That's the one.
All right. I'm going first?
Yep.
Okay. What's your most used emoji? That's a great question because I don't know. Also, I mean, it doesn't really show you anymore. I mean, I'm gonna guess that my most used emoji is the like smiling face with the little drop on his face. So
Yeah,
it's like I think they say it's like the anxious one
yeah,
or something
like
like
laughing while crying, kind of.
that.
Yeah,
Like I don't know how to describe. Let me
yeah.
see if there's like a description of
Look
this.
up.
Yeah.
You're right.
Let's see. Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat
Cold
emoji.
sweat emoji. What a bizarre. That's such an anime.
That's literally what it says.
Yeah.
Grinning face with sweat emoji.
Yeah.
The grinning face with sweat emoji is used to indicate the particular kind of relief experienced after narrowly avoiding disaster. This emoji can also let folks know you are hot and sweaty from exercise, spicy food, or seeing a sexy babe. Okay, dictionary.com.
Yeah. Wow.
That is quite
That is so not how I never. None of those situations is ever what I'm attempting to express
Yeah.
with that face.
Let's see, Urban
And I
Dictionary.
use it a lot, like
Yeah.
a lot.
I love using it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is probably my favorite emoji because I just always feel like, haha, like,
yeah.
like,
Actually, I'm looking just at the last like 12,000 texts that you sent me. Our relationship began basically with long text exchanges.
yeah.
So like we kind of take text messaging to another level here. But there's a shaka, there's 3, 4, plus a monkey, see no evil. There's a 5th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, upside down smiley face.
Oh, I also love
I
that
love
one.
that one. 17. So just in the last like 2 days, you've texted me that 17 times.
Yeah, it's probably my
it's
favorite.
Gotta be. It's gotta be. My favorite.
Well, what's your most used? That's the question.
Yeah.
What is it?
Most used.
What is it?
I don't see it here.
You have to do this thing. Yeah. So you have the kissy face.
The kissy face is, that might be the most recently used one.
I know. I'm just gonna guess that that's my most.
I think
used.
the wink with a blown kiss is almost certainly my most used.
That's what I'm saying.
Emoji.
Yeah. Yeah.
Winky face with blown kiss.
Yeah.
What does that one mean? Urban Dictionary.
Oh, I gotta look it up. Hold on. Oh yeah, I didn't even read the the Urban Dictionary one for mine.
Oh yeah,
just briefly, it says an embarrassed smile.
Embarrassed smile. I like
use
that.
Use it when you are embarrassingly speechless.
I love it.
This emoji is used when something's funny but not super funny.
Kind of a groaner. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I would agree with that.
Yep. That's I don't know what like Dictionary.com is talking about. That's some bullshit.
Urban Dictionary is more accurate.
Yes. At least in our usage.
Yeah. So it's called the yellow face winking with puckered lips blowing a kiss. May represent a kiss goodbye or goodnight and convey feelings of love and affection more generally. Smooch moi, the winky kissy face throws a kiss emoji or kissing face is mostly used to express romantic affection or appreciation.
I would agree with that completely, and then I would also say that I send that kissy winky face to everyone.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I've texted that to my tax person. Like, I send it to everyone.
You really do.
Coworkers,
Yeah.
family members.
Yeah.
Like,
For literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like something that requires a kiss.
yeah. No, a
It's-
kiss and a wink would never be appropriate
No.
with those people, and that is absolutely still the winky face kissy emoji that I will send to everyone.
Yeah. And I would probably agree. I can probably count back like the last few days. Because you send it pretty regularly.
Yeah.
You actually haven't sent it that much.
Or just the
lately.
face with 3 hearts floating around it. That one's
Oh,
a
that one's
lot.
also really cute.
Yeah, I send that one a lot. Moi. I just say moi.
Yeah,
Like, type it
sometimes
all
you
out.
just say it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is the rare instance that you haven't sent it much recently, but that's okay.
Yeah. We were together a lot recently, so I didn't have to.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your card?
Oh, I have a card?
Yeah.
What's the best hotel you've ever stayed in and why?
Ooh.
I mean, the best, technically the fanciest was.
Okay, they didn't say fanciest though.
I mean,
do you feel like it's warranted as the best?
We had a butler.
Wow.
Who, like, offered to unpack our luggage for us.
Wow. That's pretty next level.
That was insane. I'm sure it was like thousands of dollars a night. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I would say, so that was in Hanalei Bay on Kauai. The other one was, I think it's actually the same hotel group, in like the financial district in San Francisco. Their house car, like the car that, you know, they'll pick you up or drop you off somewhere if you're a high roller kind of a thing, was an actual fucking Bentley.
Oh wow.
Which I never got to ride in.
Wow.
Which is fine. What I would say, however, is that both of those trips were so painful and awful and traumatizing that I couldn't actually enjoy any of the luxuries. I also knew that the cost of those amenities was so high as to be entirely unsustainable and completely irresponsible. Those decisions weren't up to me at the time, so I kind of just had to deal. But I mean, the best hotels I've ever stayed in, those would have to be, technically speaking, to answer the question per the question. But like I everywhere we're asleep together is my favorite place in the world. So I don't I don't know. I'm thinking of like the hotel we stayed like shortly after we had like broken up for a week. That was pretty great. That was a nice trip.
Oh my.
There was the kooky, weird little tiny house Airbnb we stayed in like Julian. No, that was Idlewild.
Yeah.
That was Idlewild. That was fun.
That was really fun.
What was the place we stayed in, Julian? What was that one like?
It was like a tiny little house.
I'm getting them confused in my head.
It was like 2 stories.
Yeah.
You slept on the couch.
I remember that one.
That was like kind of creepy.
Didn't we stay over in Julian though one night?
No, we haven't.
Did we just day trip it?
We just day tripped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say same. Like, I would include Airbnbs because I mean they're kind of
that's the new
modern hotels.
Oh no, dude! We went when we saw Courtney Barnett.
I know, that's the one I was gonna say.
That's the one. Yeah.
That was really nice.
Well, tell us that one.
So yeah, I mean, we in like December for our anniversary, we just hung out in San Diego, and we had a little Airbnb. It was basically just a room.
It was so nice
in someone's like house.
The
Obviously like,
was, like
separate from like the main house.
Yeah.
Because you know.
Yeah.
the current times.
the
But
the vibe was so good. It
yeah,
was so secluded.
it was really nice, and
Yeah.
like it was super close to everything, and like we didn't have to really drive all that far, and um it's funny because like that's probably the most time I've spent in San Diego.
Mm,
Like just doing random
yeah.
different little
Yeah.
stuff.
Like hours in a row. Like
Yeah.
the longest period of time in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean we were there for just like a weekend
Yeah.
basically. And yeah, we saw Courtney Barnett, which was
Barty's
so
Strange.
good.
I
Yeah.
think Barty's Strange was the other.
I think
Was that the
so.
headliner?
No, that
Was that the opening act, rather?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. Courtney Barnett's amazing also.
Mhm. What should
Okay.
we do for the last one?
That's it. Last one. No, there's two more. We have experiences.
Do you want to do two more?
And then we have deep, and then we have life. We got to do deep
Okay.
last.
All right.
So we can do life or experiences.
What do you want to do?
I'm asking you. Why do I have to make this decision?
I don't know. I don't know what life includes.
Let's do it then.
Okay.
We're gonna figure it out.
I feel like we've done experiences before.
Oh, I've never done an experience ever. Not ever once in my whole life. Is that the one you want?
I think
There you
so.
go. I'm having trouble. I'll help.
They're sticky. That's why we don't even
because
use
we've never
these.
used these.
That's what I'm
why.
saying.
Okay, that's why they're sticky. Did you go first last time?
I think so.
You did. I think I made you go first. What's my favorite family tradition? To talk about things that are so deep, so painful, and so intense that people get uncomfortable and leave. And just the core, like my brother, my twin brother, my older brother, and my sister are the only ones left in the room who are actually enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
And like everybody else is like, God damn, are you a bunch of Debbie Downers? And we're like, nah, dude, we love this shit. Like we live to like just heart to heart, like just pour pain back and forth, like just ugh. Man, I love that.
Yeah.
We're nice to each other too. Like we care.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's a family tradition to like talk deep and care about one another.
It's very loving, even though it's like, you know, conversations people would consider difficult. You guys do it in a very lovingly way. So
yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. I'm so glad you were able to come
yeah.
to that.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was cool. My favorite family tradition. I mean, we don't really do a ton anymore, which is you know, just the way things happen. But I mean, some of my favorite traditions that I'll like never forget are like making tamales during usually it would be like for Christmas, I want to say. One of my like most memorable times was like when we did it at my grandma's house. And like all the family was there and everyone was helping, which was really cool. And like I've wanted to try and like help continue that tradition, but whether or not it remains a tradition is kind of, you know.
I mean, I joined in this year, so that was beautiful.
No, yeah, I mean,
that was my first tamale bake.
For sure, it was really good. It was cool, but like basically, it would be cool to have like my brothers there, you know, and my nephew and niece now, and just like kind of like creating that tradition again, or you know, reestablishing it. I guess would be nice.
What about our own traditions, like you and me? Like, do we have traditions that we?
I mean, we've gotten Christmas trees 2 years in a row.
Right.
I don't know if we have any like real set traditions. I mean, I love decorating for Halloween and like that time of year because it's just so much fun to me.
Yeah. I think honestly that's if we have a tradition, and you know, honestly, like the pandemic has been what it's been.
Yeah.
Kind of makes a lot of those traditions impossible. But like decorating for Halloween decorating for Christmas too, but like decorating for Halloween, honestly, we go pretty hard for Halloween. We
Yeah.
still have bats up on the wall. We did not take them down
Yeah.
for Christmas. The bats are a part of the decor period.
Yeah. They just live here
They
now.
just live here. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And
decorating
yeah.
together is pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like kind of just creating our space together
Yeah.
has just been magical.
Yeah.
Like this
Fully.
is our home.
Fully.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Mine says, what's something you believed earlier in your career but think about differently now? Well, first of all, I don't have a career. So there's that. But I guess I'll answer it as though like what I've studied as a career or like to be a career. Because I went to school for photography, as most may know listening to this. And I really enjoyed it. One, I really enjoyed that experience all in itself. It taught me a lot. I learned a lot. It really changed the way that I see art and everything. And I do feel that art and like the education behind understanding art is really valuable. Which I think some people don't always realize, because like especially for photography, because it's a medium in which anyone can access now. It is really cool what you can see from people that are considered amateurs, you know, like not necessarily maybe have studied, but there are fundamentals that everyone learns, and I think those are important. But anyways, regardless, I think one thing for me personally, as someone who is a maker, um, like kind of realizing like the hierarchy of art and like the art world and what that means and what makers are kind of stereotyped as or kind of like typecasted as. Um, I don't know, like it's a very
The business side of art is so much less cool than the creative side of art.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really unappealing. And like I've I also haven't made anything substantial in the last few years since graduating, which is something I'm personally trying to deal with, but like I've I've come to realize that I don't want to be in museums, and like I already like have a hard enough time talking about my work, and like that's a challenge in itself, but I think I don't need to be in like the limelight for my work. And I'm happy to like share what I make, but I don't think it's important for me to become like the best photographer or best
To put
artist.
it out there.
Yeah, like it's not critical to get that status for me anymore. What I want to do is just make, you know? So like realizing that for myself, I think has been really important. And I wouldn't have known that had I not gone to school and kind of gotten that education and like realized what it means to kind of be in those spaces. Which again is I feel like even this could be like its own conversation, because it's really intricate, like the details of what what the art world is basically.
Sure.
Do you have an answer for
something I believed earlier in my career? So we did the math not long ago, and I have attempted higher education 8 times. So I got a GED several years after I would have graduated from high school because I dropped out. And I got a GED, and then I scored well on the ACT, I think it was, and went to the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. Did none of my homework and flunked all my classes. and then continued. Got off of academic probation, so I did like 2 semesters there, and then was still on academic probation. So I went to a tech school, and then I think I went back to UWGB a second time then. So that was like 3 attempts already. And so I've gone to school a number of times. And my notion of what I was there for has changed like every single time. So at one point I thought I was going to be an architect. I've wanted to be a writer. I've wanted to be a chemical engineer, which was probably the dumbest thing I've ever thought about myself as far as like professional world. Like, you have to be good at math to be an engineer. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Um, so at this point, I have found an interest that that I will be able to sustain, um, which is psychology, because it's been mental health and those kinds of challenges are something that have made so many major impacts in my life. And finally reading about what was going on with myself, with my family situation, but multiple different family situations, like the damage that's caused by neglect, the damage that's caused by abuse,
Mm-hmm.
all those things. So picking a career that I'm actually interested enough in to do into my old age is probably the game changer. To
Mm-hmm.
find something that I was actually passionate about,
Yeah.
that would sustain because with ADHD, um, and with autism even, if you're not interested in it, you can't do it. You can't. Like, it's not up to me. Like, if I'm not interested in the subject, forcing myself to do every single task is grueling, like
Mm-hmm.
excruciating struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So being fascinated by something is the game changer. And like, it takes people a long time to find that sometimes. A lot of people never do.
Mm-hmm.
Um so just having no illusions about my interests has changed
Mm-hmm.
everything. So now I'm dedicated to it. um, and I'm looking for graduate schools, and I really do think that this is the one that's going to get me to the end of a bachelor's degree, and then probably a master's or PhD or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the game changer. Is like, when you're young, for the most part, you don't know what the fuck you want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't know what the world is about. You don't know what your interests are. You don't know what's going on in your own head. Like, metacognition, being able to think about thinking, is just not a skill people have when they're
Mm-hmm.
young. Very
Yeah.
few people really understand themselves well. And you grow and you change a lot, and being comfortable with that change is huge, but finally finding a passion, that's probably my biggest change.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right. And
Thank
then
you.
we're getting up to the 45-minute mark here. So
Let's just do one, maybe.
no, we got to do two. We got to do one and one.
All right.
We're going deep.
All
We're
right.
skipping experiences, because I've never had an experience. I don't know what that's even about, but I do go deep. That's it. That's the one. All right. I think you go first this time.
Okay. What mistake do you keep making over and over again? Ooh. What mistake? I mean, we've kind of talked about this before, you and I. That one, I don't know if I would call it a mistake though, but I would say I definitely just don't put myself first ever.
Mm.
In terms of like self-care and stuff like that, like we we were kind of not joking about it, but um really I really struggle with like routines for myself. So
Mm.
like, I don't always wash my face or like, you know, don't come for me, but I don't always brush my teeth. Like I know I feel gross saying it out loud,
Mm.
but like there are just some things I don't do for myself as much as I should.
Mm.
And like I'm always happy to like do other things outside of myself. Like
I'm supposed to do this. Let's do that
yeah,
instead. Yeah.
like I will like clean toilets before I like care for myself, which
Huh.
is, I don't know, a weird habit that I've like made for myself basically. And like yeah, it's bad to not do the things I should be doing for myself,
Right.
but I don't know. It's a hard like almost habit that I need to break before I can like really keep a routine.
Yeah. I would say just to get my 2 cents in on this question, uh, totally the same. Like I cannot stick to schedules. I have such a hard time sticking to schedules or
Mhm.
habits or to-do lists
Mhm.
or routines. Which is kind of like, I'm always scrambling to figure out what the next thing I need to do is to get out of the house on time, stuff
Mhm.
like that. But like for me, I think the mistake I keep making over and over again is forgetting how much I know about myself and my habits and my mind and my needs and routines and quirks of anxiety and, self-destructive tendencies and things like that. And I know so much about those things now, and I still forget to use the knowledge that I have, and I forget to implement those habits or schedules or
Mhm.
um, those kind of cognitive skills that I've gained that I just forget to use when I'm on the spot, when I need them, when I'm being guided through something. They're totally there. I'm great, like deep centering, kind of meditative breathing. Like with my therapist, I'm phenomenal at doing that. Like I can get very centered, very deep, very receptive to like my interior monologue, whatever.
Mhm.
My interior parts
Mhm.
very easily. But when that skill would be most useful is when I'm not in therapy,
Mhm.
not during my 1 hour week therapy session,
Yeah.
1 hour per week. But when I'm struggling, every other minute of every other day, and like, I have the skills to take care of myself better,
Mhm.
and I forget to use them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it's like it's not hard to admit it, but it's like I do feel like ashamed
Yeah.
of how like poorly I actually care for myself. Cuz I mean it's an obvious like okay, like you're depressed, we get it, like but it's like no, like I know I also need to be taking the steps I need to like do better,
Hmm.
but it's like my brain is just like the pressure to keep up with habits and
Yeah.
shit is
Yeah.
just like overwhelming, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel I and then again, it's just a cycle in my brain where it's like, "Oh no, I fucked up and I didn't fucking follow this 9-step skincare routine," like and I do that to myself. Like I don't need to be doing all of that, but
Hmm.
like I don't know. It's it's frustrating to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a mistake I make towards myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's not I don't think I'm doing anything outwardly that like I keep doing over and over again. Um, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
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 yeah.
my
I mean, it's a big deal. That's a deep one. I mean, mine. How do I get? So now we're onto my card.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get in the way of your own success? Honestly, I think this is almost the same damn question.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very similar. Do we
like
pull another one?
we know each other well enough that like we've talked about all this before. Like we know these things already.
Mm-hmm.
I get in the way of my own success by not using the skills I know I already have.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But I mean, I would say too, like,
Let me
at
pull
least
another
for
one.
my, okay, at least for myself, like, I get in my way of my own success, but it's like, I'm my, like, actual worst critic.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, before I was my worst critic, but, like, it's, like, even now, like, especially after school, like, I'm so much more my worst critic. Like, because
Mm, mm,
even, like, this is again kind of going back to why it's taken me so long to go back to creating. It's like I now that I have all this knowledge,
yep.
it's almost like what holds me back because
Yep.
I'm holding myself back even more
Yeah.
because I know the standards at which I had for myself in school. And it's like because I can't even meet that, it's like then
Yeah.
fucking don't even do
Well,
anything ever again.
well, I've said this before, and I can't ever remember where the quote is from, and I'm definitely paraphrasing and botching it, I'm sure. But one of the things that holds us back is like we know what's good, like we have good taste.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if we have good taste in music, and then we pick up a guitar for the first time and go plunk plunk plunk. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this. It should sound like "Bow, wow," and you're like plunk plunk, and you're like, okay, I suck at guitar. And like if you love good writing, powerful writing, um and then you write a couple words and you're like, I'm a piece of human garbage. Like, how are my thoughts so bad? How are my words so bad? And we forget that it takes long years of
Mm-hmm.
refining and building those skills and sucking and making shit that's awful
Yeah.
that we would cringe about 5 years from now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that process of vulnerability and of sticking with it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how dumb you think you are in that moment, that's where those skills are made. So
Yeah.
like we forget to like just, yes, it's gonna suck. Make
Mm-hmm.
something, get
Yeah.
it out there, do this thing, and get it done.
For sure.
Um, oh, dude. Okay, so this is the redo over here. The
Okay.
next deep card. What are you most worried about with the next generation?
Mm, that's a good question. I do feel like one, we are answering this as obviously not the next generation. So we have some bias.
Fucking kids these days.
Hello, fellow children. um, so like that's just the only reason I say that is because we've actually had this conversation
And
before.
we've talked about every single one of these things a million times already. So
Yeah.
there's, yeah.
And I feel like it, I I personally am always willing to leave room for that which is unknown. So with
Oh,
that said, like
that's
we
hot.
we may have perceptions of what the next generation may like have or like what issues they may have and all of this stuff, but we can't know
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
not a part of that next generation. So
Well, and they're
like
figuring it out.
exactly.
Whoever this mythical next, whether it's Gen Z
I
or
mean, I
Gen
would
Z plus plus or
yeah,
whatever
I would
comes next.
say because Gen Z is the most current generation, like
to
that's
to whom you could ascribe
yeah,
some qualities
yeah.
common. Yeah.
Like I think because they are the next step past us both. Um that's kind of like who we imagine to be the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like there's just before we fully give our answers, there's just so much still, yeah, like kind of burgeoning, if
Right.
you will,
Right.
that it's like
To
it's
unfold, to be
yeah,
seen. Yeah. Yet still to be seen.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk about it in more like yeah, like
Burgeoning.
future.
You said burgeoning in a sentence.
Yeah.
so good.
It's silly.
Oh,
Um, we can talk about it in kind of like more future sense,
yeah.
but anyways, your
I,
thoughts.
I we've talked about this so many
I
times.
know.
I say the same shit over and over and over again. So I'm almost like, oh God, I'm gonna say it again. I honestly, I'm gonna start with the positive here.
Mhm.
Most worried about with the next generation. Um, I think that the coming generation, Gen Z, if you will, are deeply aware of the the broken system that we've inherited,
Mhm.
and they're deeply aware of the emotional damage that our culture does to us. They're deeply anxious. They're fatalistic in a lot of ways about, what has been done to the planet.
Mhm.
Like they've never lived in a world where global warming wasn't
Mhm.
a daily issue. They've never lived in a world where there was even the most rudimentary political fairness.
Mhm.
Um, they've never been able to believe in democracy. They've never been able to believe in government. They've never been able to believe in their parents. They've never believed in their school systems. So they're very almost independent minded. Like
Mhm.
they realize that the system is broken and they're actively building new systems. They're aware of trans people for the first time. They're aware of systemic racism for the first time.
Mhm.
The first generation to really have to just face all of this at once. And in a lot of ways, I think they're killing it. I think they're
Mhm.
doing really well by talking about their anxieties,
Mhm.
talking about injustice, talking
Mhm.
about equity, and
Mhm.
building structures that are inherently fair and just and humane.
Mhm.
Um, so it's kind of, what am I most worried about? Well, fucking pick a topic. Like everything is broken.
Yeah.
Everything is broken,
Yeah.
right? But and like there's the meme culture is a big part of how the coming generations whatever communicate with one another, and like a you know a dumpster on fire and a dog with a funny hat who says this is fine is high art.
It's avant-garde Dadaism.
Yeah, right. Neo Dadaism. Right. Um, like the crisis is the solution. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like necessity is the mother of invention, and
Yeah.
boy do we have some strong needs. And I
Yeah.
think I think that Gen Z and um, this last many hundreds of years now has been a pretty dramatic series of changes, like
Yeah.
more rapid changes with technology and
Mhm.
expansion of the global kind of Western colonial genocidal shit show that we are all living with the consequences of.
Mhm.
Um, and like I think that the next generation, I'm actually hopeful that
Yeah.
the next generations will kind of figure it out.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm definitely worried that they're not gonna, and that the forces, the kind of embodied forces that are already moving us toward every imaginable crisis,
Mhm.
they still have a lot of momentum
Yeah,
and a lot of cultural buy-in.
for sure.
Anyway, what are you most worried about with the next generation?
I mean, I would agree with a lot with worrying about kind of like the way that the next generation has to deal with a lot of the same issues that we've had to deal with our whole lives. Like they're coming into it fresh, having to deal with it for their full lives. So, I mean, I am hopeful. And yeah, like a lot of cool stuff is happening too, like specifically with like people who are younger, like starting organizations or like
Mm,
nonprofits and like already learning to give back to the community,
yeah.
which is huge. But I don't know. I guess my main worry is almost more like social in the sense that like I'm worried of like how people are gonna maintain relationships and like
Mm,
maintain like community
mm,
because like everything we do is so online that it's like we've we haven't forgotten what it's like to meet in person, but like especially like little kids that like I don't know had to stop seeing all their friends and like for
mm-hmm,
3 years
mm-hmm,
and then
mm-hmm.
going back to see all your friends like and then you got to figure out if they're still like nice to you or if they're
If they're still into Polly Pockets anymore.
yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's everything has changed so much because of like again like the internet and everything. Um that like I don't know. I guess I worry for people's like emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Um and it's like, again, this is why I kind of prefaced like there's a lot of unknown especially in that arena that it's like I can't put too much like fear into that, like worrying
Mm.
about the well-being of the youths because it's like it could change at any moment or like
Yeah.
it depends on like what group of people you're talking about,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some kids might be totally fine and like totally like, develop into normal humans, but
Yeah.
like I guess just having grown up myself in an era where it's like we saw the progression of technology and like I still hung out with like all my friends and like we didn't text all day to like talk to each other, like
Yeah.
we talked in
Right.
person
You
because
didn't
we
get
could see each
cyberbullied.
other.
You got real
Yeah.
bullied.
Yeah. I mean,
Physical
yeah.
bullied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I still like grew up in kind of that transitioning like generation. Like I am a millennial.
Me too. I'm an elder millennial.
Anyways.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Anyways, I guess that would be my main concern because like I don't know. I think of like my niece and nephew that are very very young and like my nephew has had interactions with other people and he's very loving and I adore the way that he like interacts with us,
Mm-hmm.
but like I also worry like he's only like 4, but I don't know, I guess just thinking of like a child's heart and like knowing that they're gonna get hurt someday just
Mm.
hurts me, and
Mm.
it's like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But obviously, again, like I said, it's not like I can protect children in that sense. Like, we all unfortunately have to learn that, the world is not as loving as you'd like it to be. But it would
Yeah.
be pretty amazing if there was some way that we, or the next generation, was able to kind of, like I said, continue that like community work and community care
Yeah.
to like maintain those relationships
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, like knowing about yourself and like knowing your emotional well-being is so important, and like I mean we talk about this basically every day.
Every conversation every
Yeah,
day.
so like you know not everyone knows like how to talk about your feelings and like how to talk about what you're experiencing or
Yeah.
like people just don't have the words. So if like there was a way to make sure that like the next generation had the words to speak, like
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible.
Right.
And like
That-
that's starting off on a good note,
Yeah. Yeah.
whereas like most of us are learning it much later on in our lives. And it's like, yeah, it's useful now that I know it, but it's like, wow, I would have benefited from this like way earlier on,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't
What
know.
I wish I knew then that
Exactly.
I know now. Yeah.
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 It's that exact idea,
Yeah.
like
I mean, I think we're both really interested in that aspect of like some of your art has been very kind of culturally and emotionally sensitive and challenging and vulnerable.
mhm.
Um and obviously I don't consider sharing what I share, which is to say everything, always way too much. I don't consider it to be vulnerability. I consider it to be strength. Because I was vulnerable. I was scared to share. I was scared to say, that's not what I want,
Mm-hmm.
or to stand up for myself. And I'm not healed by any means, but it's getting better. So it's a process of learning, and I think I have seen the signs that that learning is taking place, that communication and that those skills of expressing emotion and needs and vulnerability, um, are present. I hope they continue,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely worry that they won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm honestly hopeful,
Yeah.
and like we don't know what will come,
Yeah.
but I want to be a part of what's good.
For sure.
I want to be a part of that growth, and that's why I'm in school for psychology now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So, like, I am hopeful. I'm scared as hell.
Yeah.
It's gonna get better before it gets. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Of course,
For sure.
as it always does.
I mean,
But
community care and community aid, mutual aid,
yeah,
it's all
join a
the
mutual aid group.
it's all the future,
Yeah, yeah.
That is the future.
The future is socialist. Suck it, capitalism. Your day is done.
Well, the future just it includes everyone. It
Yeah,
includes all of us.
yeah,
It's not for one person, it's for everyone.
yeah,
And yeah.
yeah, baby. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's go. We did an hour, dude.
I
We
know.
made people sit through an hour of this.
How crazy is that?
I don't know. You tell us. You get up in our socials.
Yeah.
Yeah, get all up in our socials
Mm-hmm.
with your ideas and your words and your comments and criticisms.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
We are here to listen. We want to listen.
We don't just talk. We listen too sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do indeed.
What do you want to what how do we close this mad dash through every existential level of being?
Just so long and thanks for all the fish.
Well, bam. God damn, you're cool.
No, silly.
No.
That's always the farewell.
I mean, that's a powerful farewell. All right.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Apologies for the late post, but it happens sometimes.
You do.
We won't drag this out any longer, I swear to God.
There, that is it. Cut it.
All right. Bye.
We love you. Goodbye.